Namaste. Welcome to the Ilonggayogi podcast. My name is Kate. I am from Iloilo City. I'm a certified yoga instructor and certified in mental health support. I share content on yoga, mindfulness, fitness, mental health, self-care, and healing. Before we get into it, I want to let you know that I teach classes at Molo Mansion. So if you're interested in taking a class with me, just head on over to our Facebook page, Healing Iloilo, for the schedule, the rates, and to book as well. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. Right now, I am currently recording this in Cebu and I will be leaving tonight to go back and fly back to Iloilo, which I cannot wait to do. I miss my dogs so much. It's like whenever you're a dog mom of 5, actually 6 dogs, you are very overwhelmed with just like the energy of the dogs, the mess, the upkeep of the dogs. But like when you're away from them, you also miss it so much. I can't even explain like how I miss having something furry just jump on bed with me that I can cuddle with at any time. I miss them so much. It's just so sad. So, but I enjoyed my stay here. I traveled to Cebu for work. So basically with my job, I organize like these activities that revolve around like wellness, fitness. So I organized a fun run, not really like the actual fun run, but I helped the employees register for the fun run. So of course I wanted to be here with them too. So, and it's important for me to also like visit the offices around the country because we have several, and to just like be there in case anybody wants to talk or just like open up to me about anything. I guess it's like, it's really different when you have a face-to-face experience or face-to-face conversation with them, with someone. So I always try to do that as much as I can. So that's why I'm here. And the ticket that I got, because tickets for some reason were just so expensive, the cheapest I could find was going to be like several days of a stay here. So like I flew in Friday night and then now it's Monday, so I'm gonna be flying back Monday night. So yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. But I've enjoyed my trip here so much. Like yesterday, Sunday, after the fun run that we had in the morning, I just slept the whole day. Like I slept the whole day because for one, I didn't get to sleep well before the run. I didn't have like a long run, just so you know. It was just like a short baby 3K, so it's really nothing because that was the only category left for us when we registered. So I just did a 3K. But the night before, I slept like probably around 12 and I had to wake up at 2. So I only got like 2 to 3 hours of sleep. So I definitely didn't have enough sleep, enough rest the day before, but it's fine because it's not like a long run anyway. So when I got home or back to the Airbnb, I just slept from 7 until like honestly until the end of the day because I would just wake up to eat and then go back to sleep again. That was how lazy I was yesterday. But I wanted to do that. I intentionally wanted to just like stay in bed, not really leave the place because it's just also, when you're in Cebu and you don't have a car, you have to either commute to get to places or take a Grab or angkas, and it's just kind of inconvenient to like do that all the time. Unlike if I were in Manila and let's say I stayed somewhere within like Makati or BGC where you can just like walk to places, that would be much more convenient. But here, every time you need like a meal, you'd have to like take either a ride, just like any ride, to get to the nearest like coffee shop that's like good enough or things like that. So I didn't really want to leave the place at all. But while I've been here over the past few days, it was my goal to attend a yoga class, which I did. I went to Bliss Yoga here in Cebu, and I did that the day before the run. Like, I really planned it out that I wanted to go to a yoga class. As a yoga teacher, you rarely get to attend other teachers' classes, especially in Iloilo, because there's really not of any other studio except for barefoot yoga, and then mine, Healing Iloilo. So I really don't have many options. And of course, you want to look for a kind of similar practice to what you teach. And like when I was in Manila and I was still teaching at Yoga Plus, like I could just walk in and attend any other teacher's class at any time of the day. Like there was always like an abundance of classes. So I don't get to do that anymore. That's why my main practice is just following classes online. Like Insight Timer is usually my go-to because they're I guess it feels like you're really in a class rather than if it were on YouTube, in my opinion. So, yeah, it was important to me that I attend a class, and that's something that I always do whenever I travel somewhere within the country. And then Sunday, yesterday, that's when we went for the run. So I knew that was going to be my workout for the day. And then today, Monday, I planned to work out. So I wanted to, lucky for me, where I'm staying, there is a CrossFit box right at the bottom of this condominium. So that's where I'm gonna go in a few hours. I'll work out there. And so I really feel like I'm in my fitness era. No, but the before I left for Cebu, like the whole week, I didn't really feel like working out. Since last week, actually, I really wasn't motivated to work out. I didn't have the energy to work out. I think it's because it's so hot outside that like you just feel so drained and exhausted all the time. So I didn't get to really work out or even like run the past 2 weeks. So I definitely feel like I have made up for that, although that there really isn't no such thing as like making up for a workout or anything, but like I definitely feel way more productive now than I did a week ago. So that's kind of what's been happening. And I've been staying indoors the entire time here in Cebu just because I don't really feel like going out. I mean, I've been to Cebu several times, so it's not something that like I want to explore, and it's gonna, it's really expensive to do that too. So I would rather just stay in, knowing that it's also very hot outside. Actually, in Iloilo, I don't know if it's just because I've been indoors the whole day, but like for some reason, Iloilo feels so hot, just way too hot. And I'm so happy though that last week I got the garden done at our house. That was something that I have been wanting to do for a very long time, because like my dogs ruined our garden. It used to be like grass and just really beautiful and all, and my in-laws had that done when we first moved in. But then my dogs just ruined it all, and for several months, I think like probably almost a year, it was just like sand, soil, just it was a mess. So every time the dogs would go out of the house and like play around outside, they would always bring that dirt in, and it would just like make our bed super dirty, the couch super dirty, everything's just like super dirty. So I felt like, I need to really do this now. And when you have dogs, and when you know that you're not really the type who likes to maintain a garden, and when it's very hot in the Philippines, especially in Iloilo, for some reason, it's just so much better to go with something very low maintenance. So we just use pebbles, rocks all over, and I feel like it just makes it feel like it's a spa. Honestly, I really, really love it. I'm so proud of it, because it's like one of those things, like it's one of my big girl purchases that I'm very happy about. Like I spent a lot on that, but I love it, and I'm so happy that it's done. There's just a few more things that I want to do with the garden, but at least we've got that done, and it just makes it so much easier given like the heat, and like having 6 dogs running around, playing around, and Actually, we also recently just got a new helper, and it has been the most like stress relieving thing ever. Because although we already had a helper for the longest time, and because she got pregnant, we knew that we would have to let her go. Like, she wanted to also go home, so I knew that although it's kind of like a transition, you have to adjust again, and sometimes it can be like a pain in the head, a pain in the butt to have to go through that process of looking for another helper and all these things. I knew that maybe it's for the best, because then it gives us the opportunity to find someone who really fits our lifestyle, because me and my husband, we're always on the go, we're always out, we're always teaching, and our work kind of leaves us tired. Like, we don't have the energy to do too much housework anymore, so we needed someone who could stay at home all day long with the dogs, and who knew what to do. Like, we're both young, so we don't know much about housework. We're a newly married couple, so again, we're still new to the household life. So we needed someone who's more experienced on that, and we found the perfect one so far. And she's only been with us for a couple of weeks, so we'll see how things turn out. But, it just feels it's like such a relief to have someone you can rely on. And you just want to hopefully like be the best, I guess. How do you say it? Like, I want to give them as much support as I can, because I want them to stay so badly. But at the same time, you also know that that's not something that you can decide on or choose. So it is what it is. But I have to say, the past few weeks have been much, 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 much less stressful, just because of having a new helper. The garden's all good, now, and having this time to take a break in Cebu has been really like recharging for me, and it just feels so good. It feels great to be here. And speaking of all the housework and all of that, it's been quite a journey for me and my husband, because we definitely had to figure out and learn how to manage a house on our own since getting married. Although I've experienced living kind of alone in Manila back then, around college, and then like after college when I was working there, I already have an idea of what it's like, how to keep up with the bills, how to clean, all that kind of stuff. But it's also kind of different because I lived in a condo, and condo life is way more convenient than having to live in a house, because something that I have just recently figured out, especially when you are kind of who's in charge of the household, right? There's a lot of things that you have to maintain in a house. So although you have the space, the comfort, you feel so good in a house, especially when you have so many dogs, they can just feel like freely roam. It's also a lot of upkeep that you have to do, and especially for us, since this is a house that my in-laws, very graciously, generously gave to us to stay in for the meantime. It's kind of an older house, so there's like a lot of things that need work, and so it's a lot, right? And when you're first, for us, like when we first officially were married, that's already a huge transition, which I always talk about. It's such a huge transition in your relationship. It's a huge transition, like personally, and then also you add on the responsibility of a household. It's also a whole different battle. And it seems like it's such a minor thing, actually. You don't, like, for me, I didn't really think about that when we were talking about marriage and all that. But once you're there, it's like you realize, oh wow, there's like a lot of work to be done here. It really changes everything. But I also think growing up, I would like to say, and I admit that I was very much spoiled, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how it was. My mom really just gave us everything that we could ever want and ask for. And so when it came to like the house, because I grew up both in the States and in the Philippines, when we were in the US, it was just me and my mom, and she had like this beautiful home, this beautiful house, and she was able to decorate it like instantly. I remember when we also moved to another house while I was still there. I was in, I think, the fourth grade that time, so I was still pretty young. I remember like every week, my mom would just bring me to the mall, and we would go to furniture places, and just she would like buy all these furniture, and every week you would see how our house would get more and more beautiful. She would just like decorate it in an instant. So it just like seems so easy and simple, but the moment when you're already the one in charge of a house, like I realize how different it is, especially when it's in the Philippines. Like it's a different dynamic. It's so much easier in the States, I noticed, to just maintain a house because it doesn't get like very dirty easily. I don't know if that's the actual case or if it was just like in our case, because it was just me and my mom. And my mom was very particular that I do not break anything or destroy anything. So I was also very, very, very careful with all the furniture, with all the stuff. So we rarely had to like clean the house every single day. But here in the Philippines, I guess because of just the climate here, and I don't know, maybe the lifestyle here of like having more, how the house is mainly open a lot. I don't know, like windows are always open, doors are always open. So dust always comes in, and it's just like a very polluted place too, I guess. So it's like you always have to clean every single day. Like it feels like you're doing like a general cleaning every single day. So yeah, it's just a lot more work that I never had to experience growing up. And because I grew up, again, like quite spoiled, as much as that's kind of difficult for me to admit, but it is the truth, where you always had a helper around who took care of all the cleaning, all the chores, so you really didn't have to do anything. It was such an adjustment for me. Also, I had to kind of go through all of this, I guess, without my family. My family and I, we have had quite a complicated dynamic, and there was this huge incident that happened 2 years ago, so back in 2022, and it did lead to me breaking ties with them, at least for the meantime. And over the past couple of years, I've met other people who have a similar experience, but we rarely like talk about it. And so I remember over like the course of the past 2 years, as I would like open up about what happened to my family here and there, or even if I didn't, if like someone just approached me and then, or like a friend opened up and then they kind of shared a part of their story too, and how, especially when they got married, they kind of also drifted apart from their family. I realized that, it's kind of common, and it's just that people don't always talk about it. And I get it, because like for me personally, I also don't like talking about it that much, because although I've shared it already with a few friends, they know, it's like when I keep talking about it or keep sharing it, it's like, and then what? It's not really going to change anything. I mean, yes, I guess it helps to open up about it, but at the same time it doesn't, because it does feel like you're digging up a grave. And it's not something I enjoy like going back to and talking about again and again. And it's like, I guess maybe it's because I'm still in the process of accepting it, and healing from all of that. But at the same time, I feel like, again, it doesn't really make a difference to talk about it to anyone. And it's really something that's like a personal journey for me to heal from, because it's like I have to find my way to forgive them in my own way, right? Or to forgive the whole incident. And it's just like something that I have to do on my own, basically. So yeah, I don't always get to talk about it, but however, it does feel very, I feel like less alone whenever I hear that, oh, other people also go through that, or that they've been through that and they're fine, because again, you see that they have had this struggle with them for quite some time already, but you don't see them talking about it as often, but they're still thriving, they're still doing well. And I guess it's just really part of life. Honestly, as I always say, it's like just part of life. We always have those fallouts with people in our lives, and as tragic and sad as it can be, it's just a part of it. But with this whole decision, it really is a choice that I still stand by. And even though a lot of people may perceive it as wrong, especially in our culture, the Asian culture, Filipino culture, it's just like that's unheard of and it's very taboo. That's, I guess, why we also don't like to talk about it as often. I still believe and I still know that it was 100% necessary for me to do that and to stand by it, because this is what has led me to where I am today, where I can finally, I feel like I am more connected to myself, to who I am, to my purpose, to what I want, and it's like my decisions are no longer clouded or influenced by what I think my family would want me to do. So let's just take a quick break from this episode to talk about my juice brand, Daily Greens. If you're in Iloilo City and looking for a healthy juice that doesn't have any added sugar, no preservatives, and is packed with a variety of vegetables and fruits, then you should try Daily Greens. With 2 flavors, Greens Blend, a blend of 11 vegetables and fruits, and Carrots Blend, which is 50% carrots and a mix of other vegetables and fruits, this is unlike any other juice sold on the market. Most juices are packed with more fruits to help it taste better, but completely miss the point of being a nutritious and healthy drink. Remember, fruits are still filled with sugar and must be enjoyed in controlled portions. Daily Greens makes sure that you get the most out of a bottle, packing it with more vegetables than fruits and making it fresh, not to mention affordable for everyone. You can enjoy a bottle or 2 every day, which is perfect if your goal is to maintain healthy yet easy habits in the long run. You can order from Healthy Kitchen, Salads and Wraps, Sunday Bake Night, and Commune and Tiger. This is your sign to start building healthier habits in the most convenient way with Daily Greens. So I needed the space to think about everything, and I really needed to separate myself to think straight and just process it all. And that's what I did. 2 years ago, I made that decision to just step away. And I felt like I needed to, because I needed to, that's how I am. Like, that's how I am in every situation. I always need time to think and process everything because I want to see it from everyone's side. And to me, that's how I recover, heal, process. Like, it needs to be an internal journey. And I need to do it without anybody, like, again, influencing my mind, my choices, my decisions. And that's always what has worked for me. That's why I always find those moments to isolate or to pull myself out of my current situation so that I can, like, see the bigger picture and then make a more mindful decision from there. And I've never been like away from family my whole life. I would always like either have someone by my side that's still kind of family or a relative. So this was like the first time that I felt like I had to survive on my own without depending on anyone else. And that was quite a huge shift in my life because, again, it all kind of happened suddenly, unexpectedly, wherein I was married, I got married, and then I also separated myself from my family. All these things happened, and I realized that I have to rely on myself moving forward, that like I'm the only one I can trust, that I'm the only person I can depend on, and that my relationship with myself is now the most important one, like my priority now. Because again, like it was something that kind of changed how I saw my family in a way. And yeah, it's kind of very complicated to say the least. But from then on, it made me realize that all that really matters now is what I think, what I feel, and that I'm taking care of myself, and that I prioritize my happiness, because now I'm in a different chapter of my life, and the choices I make now will impact me and not my family anymore. So I don't have to like completely consider them every single step of the way like I used to. So the whole incident really altered my life. It changed my perspective, my beliefs, like it just changed everything. And like even when I say that, like how it changed my life, it still feels like an understatement, because again, as I always say in these episodes, I just feel like I'm no longer the same person I used to be. It's just like a complete 180 from who I was, just in the way I think, the way I see life, the way I do things. It is just so different. It's just like I can't even like put a finger on what those changes are in my life, because it just feels like it almost feels very foreign, but also it's like I accept who I am now at present, and I no longer know who that person was 2 years ago. Yeah. So I needed to break away from just like all those toxic belief systems that I used to have that I didn't even realize I had, all the bad habits, all the self-sabotaging ways that I used to have. And so that's why for me, I really feel like this was the best decision for me to do, for me to grow, for me to understand everything, to see things clearly. Like I needed this to happen. So that's why, like, as I've separated myself, I feel like I've quickly made peace with the whole situation. Like I've made peace with that, because I know that it was what I needed to grow. Like it was the push that I needed to really just step out of those old ways. And when you step into a marriage at the same time, it just came like at, I guess, the perfect time, as I'd like to say. Although it's also kind of a sad time, but also the perfect time, because it came when I was about to get married. So it was just easier, I guess, for me and my husband to make decisions for ourselves without, again, our families getting in the way. And I'm really lucky that his family, my in-laws, also give us a space that we need, even though technically we're living under their roof and we're living thanks to them. They generously gave us that house. They still give us so much space. And so I feel like I needed to separate myself, because otherwise I don't think my family would have given me this amount of space that we needed to just like to figure things out on our own, and to struggle as well on our own, because that's how we grow, that's how we learn, and that's how we strengthen our marriage. And so although everything is still really a process, it's a journey, as I've said again and again, I know that this was the right decision. It may be the most extreme boundary, but again, like how else would I have grasped the reality of life and just like my life, my perspective, my beliefs, if it weren't for me making this very difficult decision? And it's something that I hate to admit that I am proud of, because it's very bittersweet. It's, of course, you don't want to have to resort to something like this. Every day I miss my family. Every single day I miss that dynamic, the banter we used to have, because I am very, very close with my family. It's just that I think it's part of every family anyway to have these complicated things, arise. But to me, I feel like I just needed it because it gave me the boundary. And I know that it also sets boundaries for them so that they also kind of learn from this whole experience too. And I also learned from the whole experience. Like, we needed to do this, not just for me, but I know for them, for their sake as well, they needed this too. And so it just like really helped me reconnect with myself. It helped me repair all my broken pieces in a way that's so dramatic, but it's also true. But I was able to do that without blaming my family, without blaming anyone, because I feel like I would always resort to that in the past, and I would always depend on my mom or like expect so much from her. And now I realize that I can drop that and I can let go of any expectations. I can let go of blaming anyone because it doesn't really matter anymore. Like, this is my healing journey now and I'm the only one responsible for it. So it really helped me not cloud my judgment, having that separation between us. And honestly, I know that one day, hopefully, of course, when it's right, when the time is right, when the perfect time arrives, that we will reunite. But for now, until we all learn from the pain and we all heal on our own way, everything might have to stay the way it is. And that's fine. That's part of the whole journey. That's part of the process. And it gives us all the peace we need to get by for now. And, I just want to say too that, again, I don't always talk about these things, but if you're listening and you've had a similar experience, as cliche as it may sound, I just want you to know that you are not alone. And I know that it's like this hole in your heart that just will never be filled ever again. And it's something that you feel every single day. It's like this heaviness that you feel every day. And I know that you miss your family every single day. There's always like this part of you that feels, did I make the right decision? You question yourself a little bit. There's a little bit of guilt. But it also, as I'm sure you feel, that like this was the right thing to do. Like, this is the best thing to do. Because it gives you your peace of mind. It helps you clear your mind. I know that it has done that for me. And it's a process, but I know like in time, again, like I just mentioned, we're all going to learn from it. We're all going to grow from it. And hopefully that growth, the learnings that we've gained, just bring us closer in the future. So that's it. That's all for me today. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Ilonggayogi podcast. And if you'd like more similar content, you can learn more on my blog and socials, which will be linked in the show notes. Wishing you peace in the body, peace in the mind, and peace in your heart wherever you are. Always take care of yourself.